Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here, your host for this fine Tuesday evening. We're back. It's been 2 weeks. We apologize, but holy shit, we were just having way too much fun riding dirt bikes in Colorado. But before we totally get into all the beer drinking and bench racing, we have a new guest for this Tuesday evening. Super excited to invite to the couch, if you will. This is Eric, better known as Yammie Noob, though. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
I like it. So tell us a little bit about this Yammie Noob thing before we jump into some of the catching up to do so we can kind of get all going with this.
Yeah, I am the Yammie Noob, YouTuber extraordinaire. So I run a motorcycle channel, kind of like these guys do, but it's a little bit different because it's like moto vlogging. So got the GoPro on my helmet, just recording myself. And I've also been better known the past couple months for these like motorcycle comedy list videos. So I do like these countdowns, or I guess they're kind of countdowns, but like just kind of, you know, poking fun at stereotypes of motorcyclists, kind of talking about motorcycles in general. So that's about it. Yeah,
I like it.
It's been awesome.
And what's neat is that we're gonna start working a little bit with Eric here on trying to find a way to dive into the off-road segment a little bit more. From what I understand, a lot of what you've done is more on-road centric at this point.
Yeah.
But he wants to do
I've never even been off-road.
See.
So.
And so what's gonna happen once it cools down a little bit here in Texas is we're actually gonna take Eric for his first off-road dirt bike ride.
That's right.
And I think it's going to be on my 350 four-stroke, so we'll see.
It's got to put me on some crazy two-stroke.
I mean, we can.
First time. I just want to loop instantly.
Whose KX 500 can we borrow?
Please.
Oh, we do have a 1986 Can-Am 400. That'll
Hey.
totally rip your balls off.
That sounds like it'll rip my balls off. I don't even know what that is.
You're like, okay, I'm in. That's the way to do it. So we've obviously got options, and if we really do want to find you some sick-ass two-stroke, I'm pretty sure that we could figure that out. There's enough crazy people that pay attention to what we do and in Texas that we can make it work.
Oh, yeah. I feel like my life would be incomplete if I don't, like, get rid of my two-stroke virginity. You know.
Ooh. Now that's an interesting way to put it, Steven. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody refer to it as their two-stroke virginity, and I think I'm actually completely okay with it. Like, I want that to be a thing now. It's like, oh, see that V card? Just throwing that thing out the window.
Gone.
This is not happening anymore. So it's interesting. I can tell you. So when I got on, I was riding a 2003 WR Yamaha WR 250. So just a four-stroke earlier on when they were kind of coming out. Then went to a 2007. Then went to a 2009 two-stroke KTM. So switched brands completely. And one of the things you find out, unfortunately, just like myself, the hard way with KTMs is they have an amazing front brake. Like, really good fucking front brake. And so I'm out there playing around, trying to do stoppies and stuff, and like just doing little wheelies and stoppies. And I just grabbed a shit ton too much front brake. Like the third time I tried one, and just bloop, like kicked my ass straight to the curb over the front end of the motorcycle. So it's weird stuff like that I'll get to watch you learn.
Yeah, or watch me fail horribly.
Which
like,
is the same thing as learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like the first time I get on the darts, crash so much. So whatever bike you give me, just make sure that it's like no one really cares if it goes down a lot or anything like that. So
I like it.
Yeah,
it'll be mine because it went down enough. So for those, if you guys want to talk a little bit about on-road specifically, don't jump into the chat room. I'm about to open this thing up and get that going. tlk.io/seattime is a good way to do that. If you want to talk a little specific on-road with Eric or just noob questions in general, I know it's going to be fun. Or if you want to talk Seat Time Adventures, we're going to be doing that as well. Our good friend Brady Davis, who was one of the kick-ass riders this past week, will be on, and we're going to be talking about all the good times that we had there. Of course, this is Seat Time. This is the beer drinking, bench racing show where we go through all the off-road news that happens. Well, all as in anything we find relative or that we can remember to talk about. Let's be honest. Of course, huge thanks to our sponsors for allowing us to do this kinds of stuff. So Fly Racing, if you guys haven't seen any of the pictures yet from this past weekend, I was riding the Patrol XC gear. This was a total branch out for me. I have never worn any of their kind of Patrol XC gear, and this Patrol XC gear is really kind of, it's not totally adventure bike specific, but it kind of melds that weird ground between, you know, off-road gear, which is kind of more vented, opposed to on-road gear, which is a little bit more leather-centric, for the higher speeds and the asphalt type stuff.
To pretend you're Valentino Rossi.
Because we look good in tight-ass shit. That's why. and so they kind of a little more pads, a little bit more thickness kind of in the pants, and that's more durability. If you're going to be out for 200, 300 miles, elements and all that kinds of shit. But what I actually used insanely a lot was the cargo pockets. I just didn't really I was kind of like, I don't know, how is this going to go? But I didn't think about it. I have my life-proof case on my iPhone, right? We're riding around Colorado. I want to easily be able to just whip that thing out, the camera, and be able to take pictures. Boom. I was like, holy shit, cargo pocket. And then one day I had my wallet in the back on the first day. We'd go out to get lunch. I gotta take my bag off and stuff. And I was like, whoop, second cargo pocket. It goes right. I was like, these things are extremely useful. Like, so for a cross-country race, no. Like, I'm not going to need something like that unless I feel like having my medical card on me in my care flight, no, seriously, take me now. Kind of a situation. And the pads, I got a little banged up, and the XC pads that are in the jersey actually did a little bit of safety there. So I was excited by that. So if you haven't looked in it, you think it's not gear for you, at least check it out. It's going to be something you can find at your local dealer. Obviously, that's who we want you to support. Or go to flyracing.com and check out the Patrol XC gear. I have got a lot more to talk about from fly stuff as well that I kind of tested, if you will, while we were out there. But those are going to be videos that you guys will find either Facebook Live or, of course, on YouTube, which is hopefully how you found us this time. I don't know how they would do it if it wasn't. And then Kenda Tire USA. So we were all out running our Kenda tires. We had some Kenda Equilibriums out there, our super, the triple stickies, and then Brady and I were actually running the Washougal 2s. I wanted to kind of see how that would work out. And for a tire that's made not for the rockiest of terrains, it held up surprisingly well. 5 days of riding, anywhere between 50 to 70 miles a day, at least amount of road as possible, right? So we were trying to hit as much trail as we could. And connectors, and they held up great. So again, if you're getting ready to go to the TKO or any kind of hard enduros out there, look for the Equilibrium because it comes in that sticky compound, and then of course too the Washougal 2, kind of the prototype, which is now the Ibex. I know we're just getting all confusing here. Those are going to be what you're going to be running. I'm going to have them on my bike at the TKO. So if you're going to be at that event, come swing by, check my bike out. They will have Kenda reps there as well that will be selling those tires if you want to even go that route. Whichever it is. If you come check my bike out, though, I'd appreciate it if you bring me a beer. I think that is just a fair trade-off.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
by the way, what was the name of that tire? Washougal 2? What was that?
The Washougal 2.
That sounds like an ancient Mongolian warlord. Washougal 2.
Washougal 2. Man, that's such a better thought than what it actually is.
What is it?
No. So the Washougal... So
it's just a tire, yeah.
The way that Kenda kind of works, the naming conventions on a lot of their tires, even though they're kind of getting away from it, is from tracks. In the motocross circuit.
Oh.
So they kind of have the Millville, the Southwick, and then the Washougal. And the Washougal is a race that is up in Washington, just north of the Oregon-Washington border.
Okay.
And I believe
that
the
makes
designation of the two is just it's a second iteration. But yes, I think the Mongolian warlord... I know if Mike Tosh, who's actually our Kenda rep, is watching, I think that we should... That's a whole marketing campaign that we have to kick off now.
Yeah.
I like it. We can make this happen.
Dat branding, though.
Do you know if Kenda, I don't, and this is a dunce on my part, if Kenda makes on-road tires? Do they make tires for...
I've never heard of the brand, so probably not.
Small chance then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But they've definitely done a ton in trying to better their brand, and I think they've done a fantastic job within the off-road market.
Yeah.
And so, but maybe there's a chance, and we could fuck it away. We'll find out. Mike Tosh, you let us know. Let us know. And then SRT Off-Road, obviously a great sponsor of Seat Time. And if you looked at my bike right now, you would be very impressed. So SRT Off-Road makes a lot of third-party accessories for protecting of your bike. They also make a lot of parts that are just kind of aftermarket. You know, if you, on your two-stroke we're talking about, you just ding the crap out of your pipe. And you don't want to go buy the super expensive name brand stuff. SRT makes just as good, just as comparable, but at a little bit lower of a price point. So it's a great way to be able to get, you know, those two-stroke pipes if you ding them up every other week, then you don't want to keep blowing them out and taking a chance to be blowing your face off. It's a great way to do that. Or safety for your bike. Like I had my radiator guards on. I had the shark fin, which I found out. So a shark fin, you know our disc brakes, right?
Yeah.
How important they are?
Yes, they're very important.
You don't want to ding those up on rocks, do you?
No, I would not like
Right.
that.
So SRT, that's one of the protection pieces that they make, is something that you can put in your front axle or within your rear axle, and it kind of is something that the rocks that will hit on first before it could take a chance of damaging your disc
Stuff
brake.
I never even think about.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Right?
I'm
You're just like,
rocks, what are you talking
if
about?
something dented your disc brake, you would probably have a lot more shit to worry about.
Oh, man. That'd be a
than
bad time.
than a bent
yeah.
disc brake. I think it would be awkward
Yeah.
for everybody.
And on the Daytona, it'd probably be like a $450 headache, at least, or more. I don't know. It's so much money.
Yeah.
That Euro life. Well, not even Euro anymore because it's British, so that British life. Excuse me.
And I see, and you're like saying this stuff, and I was like, it sounds like science. And it's like a different language science. So there's all kinds of fun stuff we
Yeah.
can teach each other and continue to learn off of.
It is funny how it's like they're both motorcycles, right? But like the off-road and on-road thing, it's so different, and it feels like they're both in such different worlds, you know? Like there's so many different things, like you're talking about, like this disc protection thing and like all these different brands that don't even exist on the on-road world.
Right.
And it's just funny, like how it's like you can exist completely separately, you know?
And
Do you still ride on the road or no?
I have never in my life owned a road
No
bike.
way.
I have ridden on the road because,
yeah.
I've ridden on the road, but I've never in my life owned a road bike.
That's crazy.
And I think it's because of the fact that I have always lived in fairly large metroplexes. I grew up in Kenner, which is right outside of New Orleans. Went to LSU, which is in Baton Rouge, a huge city.
Yeah.
Moved to Dallas, which is Dallas, and then Plano and McKinney. So I'm still really, really incorporated around all of these huge, huge highways.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm terrified to death, not of riding on the road. I'm terrified to death of all the crazy people that don't notice that I'm riding on the road. And it's just something and I think we actually talked about this when we met at the YouTube Creator Day, was the fact that if I could justify owning a road bike to just go north and like ride from my house in McKinney to like Oklahoma and back, I think it would be awesome. But
Yeah.
I don't have the money or the time, right? And so it's one of those things that I would have to be rich and bored.
Yeah.
And that shit's probably never going to either one of them, because I feel like my brain's way too scattered to ever make me bored.
Yeah.
And, I throw my money away into awesome adventures like creating a Cahoots rather than buy a road bike. So, but, what has kept you, now that you've found this love for being a street bike rider, what has kept you from kind of becoming, I guess, ever even trying being on a dirt bike?
I mean, I think it's just the span of my motorcycling career. I've only been riding for about 19 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so not very long at all. And like, it's just, I think for me, it's easier to just like do a road bike because you just hop on, go ride, and that's it.
Right.
You know? Because
There's
for me,
a little
like,
bit more.
yeah, there's more preparation for the off-road stuff. Because if you don't have like a dual sport, is that what they're called, dual sport bikes? Where it's like you can take them on-road or off-road. If you have one that's only for off-road, like I don't have any way of getting it to the off-road. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. So I don't have like a truck or anything where I could put a bike into to then take to a location to ride off-road. So, but I think one day I do want to try a different type of bike like that, something that can do off-road type of stuff. I mean, I'm really enamored with the KTM 690 right now. I think it's really cool looking, and I think it'd be a really fun. I think I told you about that. Yeah, that's
my
right.
dad had done. Yeah.
And I recognized, he goes like, I've seen one of your videos, and I was like, I've seen the 690 review. Like that old guy was just like, this is a great bike right here. I really like this. Just real like calmly talking about how awesome the 690 was. I like that. So yeah, I've been enamored with that bike lately. But that's not an off-road bike though, is it? It could be used, but it's not one, right?
So in that same review, that same video, 2 days ago, somebody made a comment in the comments on the video saying, I've really been going back and forth between a 500 and the 690. And did we have a choice? Or I'm sorry, did we have an opinion on which one might be? And that's where I think it gets really tough. Like if somebody was like, I'm thinking of getting a 350 or a 690, I'm like, you
don't know what you want.
You want two bikes. Like you
Right.
don't want the same, you don't want to do the same thing on two of these different bikes. But the 500 and the 690 is tough because there was a guy, Brady, who's going to be on a little bit later. He rides his 500, which is still street legal, has all the stuff still on it.
Do the 500s come street legal from factory? Or I thought that was just an off-road bike.
Sorry, he has the EXC. He has the EXC version, which is the dual sport version.
I got
It
you.
comes street legal, and you can get the tax title license, all that kinds of stuff. Boom, and your license comes to you. You don't have to
Gotcha.
take it and get it plated.
Yeah.
But you can get a 500 that is the opposite.
Right.
But I still feel like the 500 and the 690, unless you're somebody like Brady who is going to just ride it however they ride, regardless of what the bike wants to be done to it, Like you're still kind of like picking between two different types of bikes with the 500 and the 690.
Yeah.
The 690 is kind of a miniature adventure bike. Now, what you've seen Chris Birch and what you've seen, guys like that, Johnny Walker and Taddy Blazuzak do on some of the KTM videos on a 690, that's because they're who they are, right? That they can do those kinds of things on those bikes. Their bike control skills are absolutely out of this world. So I feel like that might be a little misleading to someone like myself, who's like, man, I could totally take that 690 and just tear ass through the woods, where it's like, probably not. Like, you could get the EXC 500, and yeah, you could do that if you've got just a little bit of extra gumption and you want to push the bike beyond what it's probably totally set up ready to do.
Right.
Or if you know how to set it up proper. So the 690, though, I think it would be a great bike if you really wanted to do both, in the sense of don't really think that single track is ever going to come into the mix. The 500 is the one where you're probably going to want to go. Sorry, they said something about YouTube. Oh, that's you. Is the one where you probably want to go if you do want to have like that 30-40% of single track involved.
Yeah.
So
honestly, right now I'm just trying to get something that's not completely crouched over and like my knees are, under my hands and just like so, leaned over. I just want something a little more relaxed. That's about it.
All right, let's see if we can. Apparently, there's a lot of chatter in the chat room. Is that what I hear, Steven?
Yeah, a lot of chatter.
Let's see.
Yammie's bringing out a whole new crowd.
I like it. Now this is where I get stupid. Is there a way to like just see our chat?
What did that link take you to?
You sent me a link?
Yeah,
Oh.
in our chat room.
Oh. Hey, sexies. All right. Well, this is going to get a little crazy. Oh, dirty bacon.
Dirty bacon.
That just makes it fun right there.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually
cool.
met up with that guy in Austin and a couple other friends out there. Yeah.
You did your meetup. And see, that's what's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do a little bit of Seat Time Adventures talk, but at the same time, what you have done with what your on-road group and stuff and being able to put those meetups together, I think is just as cool of an event. Obviously, it's just shorter. It's a little bit of a one-day thing.
Totally different than what you guys do. Yeah, with the Colorado trip, for example.
But that's okay, because I think it's neat that we're trying to do this kind of way to get our group of beer drinking and bench racers together, right, and do our thing. But you're trying to do what you're doing with these meetups, and I think one day you could get a little multi-day going on.
It would be cool, yeah.
And then you could get me on a road bike on a track for the first time. That would be the scariest thing ever. I know it for a fact. Like, I would just
if we had
shit my
coordinated a little
pants.
better, I'm going this weekend to a track for the first time ever.
What track?
MSR in Houston.
I'm going to be in Austin. If you were about to be like, so-and-so in Austin, I'd be like,
we're going to Coda.
we may have to go there.
We'll put you on your very first time on like a street bike. We'll get you on Coda, get you on like a brand new R1M. Just be doing like 200 miles an hour on this back straight. It'd be awesome.
This is my face of ignorance. Is this a bad idea?
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, God, we got people.
So what's going on in the chatter?
Don't you disrespect me. We got people trolling.
Oh, shit.
I think this is the first time we've ever had true haters. Oh, no. One time, we were doing, unfortunately, good buddy of mine, Kurt Caselli, that's his number one jersey from 2013, passed away later on that year, right?
Sorry,
and, racing Baja 1000. And we kind of had like a memorial show for him. He was a big part of helping us and just always came on the show and was just super, super respectful and tried to help us grow, right? And like people like got like shitty in the chat room. Like somehow we picked up some trolls, and it was like I was like, really? Like, this has got to be the time that, like, we picked up. That was just kind of, but you can't, what do you know what I mean? It's so hard to, you can't do anything about that.
You really can't, yeah.
So it just was that's like the only time that we've had, like, trolls, and it just kind of, I was like, really?
Really? It's the only time you've had it?
Right. That it's been like.
To me, that's unbelievable, because literally every day, not every day, maybe like every other day, I literally get told to kill myself or that I'm a faggot. Every other day, literally, just because I get so many comments just, throughout all the other videos I've posted, just somebody will just sprinkle that in. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just got to get used to it.
I see
YouTube.
Ryan Zolper says the 701 is dank, and I'm going to go with cool. I think, maybe it's dank. Like, wow. But I think the 701, which is the Husky, is the 690.
It is. It's the same motor, right?
Yeah, it's the exact same bike. It's the exact
just
same
looks
when you
a
look
lot
at
cooler.
some of the Husky and KTM bikes. Now the 450s, obviously, they keep the KTMs just a little bit forefront of and the 250s a little bit forefront of like on the SX versions, but everything else is the same thing with some Husky tuning, some Husky love. The engines do feel different. The suspension's going to feel different. Like they are different motorcycles when you ride them. But to someone who's just going to jump on a bike for the first time and try it out, they probably wouldn't really notice the differences.
Right.
But I think the 701, it just, now that it's in those colors, you're like, yeah, that's damn sexy.
It looks awesome, yeah.
So they have one at Adventure Moto if you want to go check it out.
Oh,
which
yeah?
is 5 minutes away.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
tempting.
I
Is
like
it the, because they have two models of it, right? Like the ADV and the Supermoto one, right?
Oh, the Supermoto one, you're like, that's dangerously awesome.
Yeah, I really want to try that one
You
out.
could get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there was a friend of ours we were meeting up in Houston that he was, I think it's either a 501 or a 701 that he's getting, and he was like, oh, you guys could like come and test it out, and I was like, that sounds incredible. But then today he was like, won't have it in time for you guys here on Saturday, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah. I just can't. It's like everyone's like, refresh your browser. Do you need tech support? It's like, holy shit. I guess the good thing, I have been called, I don't know that I've been told to kill myself, but I have been called a fag on YouTube and in real life.
I feel like if you're just like a high energy person on camera, you're gonna get called a fag. You know what I mean?
It's pretty
like
shitty.
you're a high energy dude, and you're like you bring it to the table in front of the camera, and I like that. You're just getting called a faggot. Like it's just gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Shit. Yeah.
Press F5 time. I can't even look at this anymore. Okay, Steven, how are we doing with Mr. Brady Davis?
He's ready whenever we are.
Let's roll it in. Let's get some Seat Time Adventures talking here. So for those of you in the chat room, yes, we're going to troll the shit out of you. So just keep on talking crap. It's going to be an amazing time in my life now that I am going to reciprocate on everybody's crap. I think it'll be fun.
That'd be good.
Yeah. But, so we're going to go ahead and start talking about Seat Time Adventures. And for those of you who don't know, Seat Time Adventures is, oh my God. Really? This is happening right now? Oh, I know. I'll text it to you.
Okay.
Seat Time Adventures is the Seat Time yearly ride. As we mentioned, we're the beer drinking, bench racing, off-road show. And within that, we wanted to bring our flair of a good time to all the riders out there that could potentially want to get together and do a ride with us. So at the same time, we're also dudes that don't just like to go ride 20, 30 miles and kind of like, miss some trees and things like that. We like to ride gnarly shit. So the past 2 years, again, it just happened this past week, we went to Taylor Park, Colorado. And in Taylor Park, Colorado, you can find a plethora of craziness. There's even greater sections just south of that, around Sargent's area on the plateau there. Colorado really does have an amazing area for you guys to ride in. And if you want to organize your own event and go up there and have a good time, do it. If you want to come up there with us and have a kick-ass time and be gratiated by our sponsors and all the good times that we like to have, please, when we take submissions for invitations next year, get your ass to adventures.seattime.co and make sure it happens. Is it getting in there?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, it's still thinking. That is ridiculous.
It's probably got so many things going on.
I like the way that we're looking at it, though. It's like,
Yeah, just like
you see? It's thinking, I don't know what's going on. But so we started, and obviously we were at Taylor Park, and what's great is we were able to snag like the first camping spot. So in the national forests up there, which is amazing, some national forests I've noticed, or maybe it's state parks. Within state parks, you kind of have to pay to camp, right?
Yeah.
Well, in the national parks there, at least maybe in Colorado, it was free. So you just snag the first spot that you see, and you kind of go to town with it. And we got lucky enough that as you leave the trading post there and start heading out on the dirt road, which is just kind of north up into Taylor Park, boom, TP1, and we were able to just camp right there. So we had easy
awesome.
access to kind of everything that was going on, all the trails that we wanted to get to, and all that kinds of fun stuff. Look at this, man. It's just all kinds of shit, isn't it, Steven? Just do next. We'll see what happens. Brady Davis. Ever heard of Don't Mess with Texas? I like this. This is getting crazy in there.
it's the Yammie effect. You got all these people coming out of nowhere. Who are these people?
I don't know, but I'm a Sup Yam Red 5.
I don't know who that is.
This is Yam, saw dude.
I saw it, dude.
I want, yeah. Oh, we're gonna need these at least here.
Oh, we're gonna need them.
Y'all will need y'all's headphones.
Oh God! Wait, Brady.
Hold on. Stop talking, Brady.
Oh my God, Brady! What are you shoving in your mouth? This is so weird. Are you there?
Can y'all hear him?
Why?
I can just hear
Because
static.
I can't hear him.
Hey,
Yeah, we can
Hey,
hear
how's it
you.
going?
Can you hear
Well,
us?
we didn't say anything. That's why.
I can hear you.
Yay! Okay, Mr. Brady Davis.
Barely. I can barely hear you, but I hear you.
Okay, well, you're just gonna have to really pay attention. There it is. I like how he just gets closer to it. Well, dude, are you home safe?
Dude, I am home safe. 20 and a half hours is a long time to drive by yourself.
So with the 20 and a half hour drive down, why was it 5 hours shorter than on the way when you were coming down to Colorado?
Oh, I did 6. Oh, hold on. I just lost you. I don't know how to work a computer. How do I make this big? Here we go.
We know how to make it.
So, yeah, I did 16 hours the first day. Got to Price, Utah. And then it was like 4 hours from there, but I kind of took my time and did a little grocery shopping, whatever. So that was still like 4 hours, 5 hours-ish. But yeah, it was a long drive home, but left at 4:30 Mountain Time, which is 3:30 Pacific Time. Oh, excuse me, and then got home at 11:30 or a little bit after 11:30 Pacific Time.
That is a lot of driving, dude. Well, let's break it down. So, I know you don't know who Mr. Yammie Noob is, but that's okay. He's on the couch with us tonight. This dude is a local here in Texas, runs a bitchin' moto vlog site, and within that, but he at the same time, obviously a huge enthusiast of two wheels, and he has been putting together kind of meetups and events, a lot like we have, just of its own genre. So he was here to talk with us about all the good times that we had on Seat Time Adventures. So if you were to break it down and tell us in a small amount of words what the Seat Time Adventures was, what would it be?
What it was an epic ride with awesome people. You did a good job of picking out some really A-class guys. I mean, we had, 9? We had 9 riders or 8? 8 riders?
8.
8 riders, and we had a couple other people at camp, and then we planned out some awesome rides. We did 90 miles one day, and we did 50 the first day, 60 second day, 90, and then 40-ish, or even more than that. But we did, just epic mountain riding. I mean, that's kind of my favorite to do up here in Washington, and when I'm in Washington and I get up to 7,000 feet, I'm pumped. But when I go to when I drive all that way to Colorado and my base camp is at 9,000 plus, it's epic.
Yeah. What did you think about the elevation? I mean, I know you said you kind of start typically at sea level, and that's one of the big things. I know that when we started having those discussions with you guys, when we were making the calls, we were kind of make sure you're doing some form of working out because nobody expects the elevation to kind of kick them in the ass the way that it does. So what was it? How was that for you?
Kicked my butt, dude. It destroyed me. I thought I was kind of prepared, and I have I feel like my muscles for riding are okay because I kind of do it all the time, but when you're up 10,000 plus feet, it's a totally different game. I mean, when we went up Star Trail, that hill climb, that was a tough hill climb. I'm not going to say it was the hardest one I've ever done, but that killed me, dude. Going up that thing, you get caught up on one thing, you get going 2 things, you're done. I mean, I was just huffing and puffing. I got up to the top and Todd was trying to talk to me about God knows what, and I couldn't even pay attention because I couldn't even breathe, dude. I was trying to breathe and I just couldn't. I felt like I just sprinted 3 miles or something. It was brutal. I knew it was going to be bad, but I did not think it was going to be that bad. It is no joke. Put me down.
Well, to that point, Eric, have you ridden an elevation on your bike where you've had that kind of that feeling like he's talking about, or has there been track days where it's just completely exhausted you?
No, I've literally only ever ridden around Texas with my bike, so whatever elevation that is, so pretty low, I would say. Yeah.
Sea level-ish.
Yeah. So no. I guess like you're short of breath, right? Just being all the way up there, like oxygen can't get enough to your blood and stuff, and like I guess you get more tired fast,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. There's just so little amount of oxygen in the air, and you're just like, unless you're completely used to it,
Yeah.
your everything is just striving to get more oxygen and just get more shit pumping. Long's Peak, that would probably be a good one for you to go try. That super crazy hill climb.
Where is that?
It's in Colorado.
Oh, is that I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Yo,
I could barely hear you. I'm gonna go grab some headphones real quick. Is that all right?
we will let you do that.
Okay.
Of course.
BRB. I need to get some headphones.
So what we were talking about though with Brady is this guy is I think the perfect representation of what I was probably like 10 years ago. Like I'm still high energy. I'm crazy. I try to just always laugh, have fun, goof off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't even think even at 25, which is what Brady is about to be 26, that I could even do it at his level. Like it was great to see him. This is the dude that I was talking about that rides the 500 EXC. So he is literally left his doorstep, not to this event, obviously, but left his doorstep to go to a bachelor party weekend of a bunch of dudes who go dirt bike riding, right? He rides hundreds of miles on this 500 to the campsite, pitches camp, wakes up, rides for 3 days with these guys, and then rides his dirt bike back. Same 500. Like,
Dang.
so it was, excuse me, it was insane watching, riding behind him and watching him hit this stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you just go, he's on a 450, he's on a 4, but you know what he's on. He's on a
Right.
street legal motorcycle that he rides hundreds of miles sometimes to the trail.
Shit.
So it's like, that's how intense it was. And so the fact that he's always smiling, giggling, goofing off and stuff, you're like, yes. Like, absolutely, that's the coolest shit. So, has there been anybody that's like really stuck out to you, like in some of these rides that you've done or some of these meetups that have been, you're kind of like, that is the energy. Like, I wish that I still had that kind of a thing.
Well, I'm only 23, so I think I hope I still have whatever energy is still there. But I'll shout out to my buddy Dirty Bacon, who's actually showed up on the chat there. So he has a DRZ 400 that's just really ratty and just kind of beat up. And he also has this, I don't know what year it is, and he's probably going to talk mad shit about me because I don't remember what year his katana is, but it's like this beat up katana that's got these levers on it that come up to like here. It's on these crappy tires. The seat is it's got like red duct tape all over it, and he's just like riding the shit out of it. Like we were on this really twisty road in Austin called Lime Creek Road, and I was literally like going probably like 8 or 9 tenths, right? Just like riding until like I basically couldn't really ride anymore. And he was just like right there, basically, with me. I was like, this guy's insane. Like, this is crazy. And so there's a small part of me that's like, we're going to go to the track, and he's like, probably going to be able to keep up with me, but I have to be like, I want like a $13,000 European race bike. I can't let that happen or else I'll look like a total idiot.
Like a noob?
Yeah, like a noob. Exactly. Yeah.
We'll have to give me some kind of name because it'll be blah, blah, blah noob for sure. Like, it'll be weird. I'll probably have the helmet on backwards. I'll be like, you're not supposed to be at a C, right? Like, this is normal?
Yeah. It's for the visor for the get the wind going, right?
I like that. It's for my mullet to stick out.
The mullet.
All right, Brady, is that any better?
I'm back.
Nice.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, good. I can hear you a lot better with these.
I like it. I apologize about that. I try
all right.
to yell, but everybody hates that. And so it just kills Steven's mojo. So we got a couple questions in our chat room. Is James Hill wants to know if you're in the attic. Because
James Hill wants to know
now
what?
that I look at the scene, I think are you in the attic?
No,
Your
I live in
current
a
location.
barn, dude. Legitimate. This is the angle of the roof of our barn that we live in. Swear to God.
I believe you because you're fucking Brady Davis.
You saw my picture on Snapchat, dude. When I got home at 11:30, it's a barn with a garage on it.
That's epic. Okay, second question. And I should know the answer to this. I just want to verify. What are you drinking?
Avril Nelson and Coke, you know it, dude.
Absolutely. So he whips out the first day that he's
That's
there.
right
We
here.
go ride, kick ass, do all that kinds of shit, and get back. And he's just like, I got myself a cocktail, and I was like, oh, what is it? And then he goes, it's Admiral Nelson's, and you had 7-Up or Sprite, I think, that first night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
and I was like, wait, what? Admiral Nelson? He goes, yeah, like Captain Morgan, but the cheap shit. And I'm like, wait a minute. So he shows me this bottle, and it's like the biggest copycat shit you've ever seen. You go Captain Morgan, Admiral Nelson. You're like, oh my god! And it's like, you know how the guy's got like his knee up
so
and shit.
fucking busted.
Dude,
This guy's got
any
like
of
a
my
fucking
friends-
like eye thing, and he's like so he's got. I was like,
dude, that's really funny.
that is
Honestly,
the craziest ripoff I've ever seen, and perfect. Like, hell yeah,
Dude,
I
it's
want to
in
buy
the-
that.
It's in the
Admiral
liquor
Nelson.
cabinet. I'll go get it and show you. If any of my
dude,
friends don't see
please.
this from Washington, they're gonna be laughing their ass off because that's all we get. It's like, you want to hang
Admiral
out
Nelson.
tonight? You want to hang out? Yeah, sure, dude. I'll grab a jug. I'm on my way. It's like, cool.
it's so fucking bootleg.
It's like a jug. We know what it is.
know.
We're good.
I'm gonna go see if I can get any of the goodies around here, like the Total Wines, to start carrying that shit.
Oh my God,
'Cause
yeah.
I just want now. I like
it's an imported good.
it's what is it, Caribbean rum or spiced
Yeah.
rum? Of course, it's imported.
I mean, fuck's sake, it's Admiral Nelson. He's above the captain.
I love it.
He commands a fleet of vessels. Like, what the fuck, dude?
There's a lot of winning going on in that drink, my good friend.
I like that.
There
Yeah,
is.
There's a lot of good stuff in here. I tell you what.
Well, I think we had a lot of fun at Sea Time Adventures. We were talking a little bit about the 500 EXC. So tell us about that setup and how you run that bike the way that you do. And I know a lot of that is just Bradyism. It's got a throttle, you're going to twist it kind of a thing. But
Kinda.
do you do any modifications to like make it so, I guess, equal for you to be able to ride to the trails sometimes on road and then be able to rip it off road? Or
Yeah,
did you just suck it up and do it?
Well, at first I did. I just sucked it up. I'm like, this is the bike I bought. I'm going to make it work. But as time went on and more funds came in, the first thing you have to do is desmog that bike. Get rid of that stupid California smog tank on there. And it's like a canister, like a little bit smaller than a beer can. And it just like filters air or something. And it has like an air valve in there too. You got to get rid of that. And there's a bunch of other jargon that's attached to the throttle body. And it's just, if you go to like, I don't know if I can drop other website names, but it's like a dual sport page. It tells you what to do. It tells you what to buy. And it's actually relatively cheap, and then after I did that, I bought one of those FMF, I don't know, the 4.1,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
just slip-ons on it. I
slip-ons?
mean,
Yeah,
it just turned the bike into like a 550 from what it felt like. It just added so much more power and just opened it up a lot, and didn't have to mess with anything like on the computer for the fuel injection or whatever. It was just plug and play, and it was ready to go.
Epic.
But for off-road, the gearing's different. I mean, it's geared so high stock. I mean, when I first bought the first day I bought it, it went on 99 miles an hour stock with
Whoa.
the smog stuff on it. It's a fast bike. But when I did the gearing, I dropped one tooth in the front, and that was it. And I thought that was plenty. And honestly, dude, it's funny because I rode that bike the whole time at Colorado, and then I had that flat the last day, and I really wanted to get up on that mountain and take a picture, and you're like, just take my bike. I'm like, sweet. I've never ridden a 350. I've always wanted to like see the difference between the 350 and the 500 to see if I made the right choice. And no joke, dude, I felt like your bike was sluggish, which is weird because I've always been such a huge fan of the 350, but you ride that 500 in those trails for however long, and I've had it for over a year now, and now it's like, I don't know if I can. I think I'm just a big bore off-road rider now, and I never thought I would be. Yeah. And that's the reason I bought a 250F back in the day, because I knew, I'm like, I don't need that power in this tight single track stuff, which I like to ride so much, but now I have a 500, and I'm just making it work.
Yeah. And I think a lot of I wonder, too, like, it would have been interesting. I know I had the spark arrestor, the little plug for the...
Yeah, the slip-on I got does have the spark
like,
arrestor.
Takes away a lot of horsepower, and then you add in the fact that we're at elevation, so that 350 is probably running like a 275. So you probably thought you were on like a 250 compared to your 500, which was probably running like a 426 from back in the day. So you still had ample CCs to play with, where like on mine it's like, it's just kind of like bopping along. But you
Yeah.
can hate on my bike. Shut up.
No, I don't hate it. It was just surprising to me. I was like, 350, right on. I've never ridden one. I'm going to do this. And it was just like, whoa, it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
it's just a little different.
I
My
like
buddy actually just bought a 16 350, and he just got done with shoulder surgery and stuff, and we haven't ridden yet, but I can't wait to jump on it too.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more fun at less elevation, at ground level.
Yeah, I would agree. The elevation kills everything up there.
I like these. Speaking of killing everything, we got 2 comments in the C-Type chat room. It's talking about it felt like somebody was standing on my chest all week. So from the elevation, like the way you're trying to breathe. And James Hill, I was good until we stopped. Then it was like you couldn't get a breath, and that was so true. Like there was a time when we went and did horseshoe, and I walked back down to try to help some people get back up one of the hill climbs, and everybody but me got a bike up to ride, right? And so I was like, okay, because I got somebody to side hill, so I just said, okay, well I'm gonna start walking. I made it like 5 steps each time. We were probably like 10-2, I think, something like that, around this point.
At
like
least
10,000 feet when we were
if not more. We were way above
at the
where our
top,
camp
and it was like, yeah, I mean, it literally would take 5 steps, and I'd be like, holy shit, like 5 steps, holy shit. So it's just crazy, and then everybody's like laughing at me at the top and stuff, and it was the difference though of riding a bike and literally having to walk up a hill, because like riding the bike, as long as you're doing it and not fighting the bike, you're kind of
when we saw those
energy.
hikers and those mountain bikers the last day, I'm like, those guys are absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you would walk that trail. Like I have to ride it because I just would die. I would die.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to breathe and I would die.
The runners he's talking about. So while we're out there, they had this event going on in Taylor Park called the Colorado 200, and it's like one of those ultra marathons.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like all these we were running into runners. That's ironic. We were running into runners the whole time on the trail, and obviously very respectful. Anytime come up, we pull over and wait for them to wave us by, or until it got really wide, depending on the situation. But as we found out a little bit more, I mean, yeah, these guys are. It's like everybody said, go, and there's a 200-mile race to go finish.
200 miles.
Yeah, that they're all running / walking like through, and they would get to these.
How long does that take?
Well, I mean, it was some
Jesus
people was like
Christ,
2
dude.
weeks, I think. Like
Wow.
what was it like? Maybe I think one of the longest ones was like 10 days, and some of the shorter
We saw
ones
them.
was
We
like.
saw them every day when we were out there.
Yeah.
that was
nuts.
So
5.
people would go sleep for like an hour or two at these health stations, and that was it. Like they would get like an hour. They would like literally were napping, and just get
Those
up and
people are
keep going.
full blown hardcore.
Yeah.
That makes us look
I mean,
not crazy.
hardcore.
No, yeah, it makes us look
They make
sane.
us look
Yeah.
like a bunch of wimps.
Like if a bunch of motorcyclists are like, you guys are fucking crazy. Like you have to be really crazy.
Yeah, we know that they have issues.
Yeah.
But it was just a lot of fun, and I have to say, like, so when it comes down to it, though, like, what do you see? How does the evolution happen for us, Brady? Like, how do we, like, get that ball rolling? And if people out there that have been on the ride, want to go on the ride, have done other rides like this, kind of feel that what Brady says might be something that you can add to the story. Obviously, we have the comment section for a reason. Get in there and use it and help us evolve this event. So,
How you're asking me how do we evolve it?
any thoughts? Yeah.
That's a hard question to answer. I mean, you guys did a really good job. I know I can hear Steven back there clicking away. He did a good job. Damn Daniel did a good job. Rob did awesome. I mean, we had a really good group of riders. I think it's timing. Honestly, I think it's timing for most people. But I feel like you gave away enough time in advance to see like if people were actually serious about it. Like I don't know how you'd make it. That's a hard question for me to answer.
Do you feel like what we did on the bike was what you thought it would be?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, it exceeded my expectations. Obviously, I had an awesome time, but I knew it was going to be hard. I knew the elevation was going to be come into play. Not as much as it actually did, but I mean, it whooped my butt, dude. I am no hero when it comes to that. It totally kicked my ass, but the actual like adventure of it, of like saying, hey, we're going to start here, we're going to meet here, have lunch, have a snack, and then we're going to go again. It's not like, it's not like you're at work where you got to work, have an hour break, and then work again. It's like everything's new.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I mean, it was just, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
So, like, one of the things that we had talked about, I think with everybody, to a degree, we've been talking about potentially moving the ride next year to a different location. And the reason behind that, and we've explained this to a couple people, is we as enthusiasts of the sport, there are so many different places, so many more trails, so many cooler, well, maybe just as cool locations to go to see, right?
Yeah.
And so why limit ourselves to going to the same place every year, right? Now, we know Taylor Park is absolutely amazing. There are other places within Colorado that we could go do the exact same 4 days, not the exact same 4 days of riding, but 4 days of riding, and have just as much fun. So the thing is, it's like, do we consider moving it next year? I mean, like, how do you feel about that, Brady? Like, and don't even, I wouldn't even say don't take some of the locations that we had discussed with you into consideration. I think, take into consideration what you were able to do this year, and what you were able to see, and kind of like what you would want to be able to do next year. Is it the same thing? Is it different things? Is it different locations?
I think eventually maybe moving it would be good, but I think next year keeping it at Taylor Park would be awesome. I know there's trails that we didn't even ride, right? I mean, like, there's so much trails just at Taylor Park that we didn't even touch. I mean, we could try to get, I say we could get a little more, we as in you, could get a little more organized maybe on like having trails picked out before you go. I mean, the maps are available, right? I mean, like, instead of trying to like pick certain trails, I mean, because we looked at however many maps a couple nights and we're like, oh, well, this new map doesn't have that trail. You know what I mean? Like, just getting a little more organized with like picking trails. But I mean, you guys did an awesome job with that. But I think doing it a little more, familiarizing yourself with like what's going on, like every little like hiccup that can happen, like people not getting dressed on time, or
Oh, Todd Slavic, that son of a bitch.
yeah, sorry, Todd.
Jesus.
Jeez, man.
God.
But not getting dressed on time, people having flat tires. I mean, like, anything can happen. So I think the more you do it in a familiar location, when things go south, you're like, okay, well, at least I know where I'm at. I'm not in a new spot. It's like, we could either go back, take this road. You're not like guessing what you should do. You like, when something bad happens, you're like, okay, well, this is what we have to do. This is what makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've had a lot of inner dialogue about that as well, because it would make a lot of sense. Like, I mean, think about, if you do your meetups, in the exact same place every time, you kind of know how it's going to go. But the second you move it, you're like, well, it could.
And
be
that's what I was going to say as an outsider looking at this situation. It's kind of like, if you go to the trails, there's less chance of unexpected things happening. You can control it a lot better, but you miss out on opportunities of finding cooler trails or doing cool things. You know what I mean? So I think there's pros and cons to both. I think you should try new ones, but yeah.
I think it would be cool, like, if nothing else, to get a good recon going, like to some of the locations we've been talking about wanting to go to. And then kind of like seeing how people feel about, if we go to, like, one of the ones we were talking about was going to Utah. Because there's just so much amazing stuff riding out there, especially because of the way that, and I don't mean like slick rock, the area. I mean like the way those rocks, just like they call them slick rock because they're like not slick. It's the most ironic name ever.
Right.
They have so much grip. And so anything and everything you ride when you're out there in kind of those areas, it's just, you have so much traction. Like unbelievable amounts of traction.
Yeah.
You can climb up things you never thought you'd be able to climb. You can ride almost vertically downhill because you just have so much traction with your tires there. And that's just something I want to take the idea of seat time to those kind of locations so that we can experience that together as a group, as we did, this past week. But to both of your points, like it's a place I haven't been since I was 16 years old. So there's so much more to know, right? And to have people involved potentially financially involved that can help us to make sure that we are organized on knowing where and how to ride those specific locations.
I mean, for example, my Austin meetup, like the road that we did the ride down, I mean, I'd never been on that road before. I went the night before to just kind of like just look at it and just kind of see what I was getting myself into. I was like, okay, I got to lay the land. That was it, though. So it was really kind of like fly-by-night, just like, all right, we're going to do a meetup here, and like, it's going to happen. So, I mean, I think yours, you definitely have a lot more preparation. You can't just like show up and be like, we're just going to do this.
We're going to go that way.
Yeah. So, but I think it'd be cool. I think you should try them out. Try out new ones.
All right, Brady. We'll see what happens. So, before we let you go, before we kind of start to wrap it up here, I wanted to know what would you like to see in the video?
See what?
What
see
would you
in the
like to
video?
see in the video? Like, how would you like? What do you want to get out of the video?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of awesome shots. I mean, last year's video, you guys, it was funny. When I got back, I watched last year's video and like, oh yeah, I was on that trail. Like, oh, I know that Star Trail, like stuff like that. So that's going to be fun to see. But what do I want out of it? I think the last video was awesome. If it replicated that, like there was a lot of talk about making it shorter or longer. I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I don't know how to do any of that like video editing to make like anything cool. Like I
put a shitload of wheelies in it.
Shitload of wheelies. We got a shitload of wheelies. We got a shitload of wheelies. Brady's
do a
Brady
lot of
wheelies.
wheelies. Yeah, a lot of wheelies and a lot of crashes.
Yep.
But no, I don't know. If it's anything like last year's video, it's going to be awesome. I know that.
And you're a proponent of a longer video than last year's, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we got so much footage. I mean, I know most of it's like GoPro helmet cam footage, and your dad was like, oh, like I watch GoPro, and it's just like, oh, put me to sleep or whatever. But, from your helmet cam, which I agree with most of that. But when it was my, when it's from my helmet, it's like, I want to watch all of that. You know what I mean?
He's one of those
I want
guys.
to see all of it. I want to see the people's GoPro in front of me and behind me. Get something going on there. But if it's anything like last year's, I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do a bunch of videos. I think that what we're and
You
granted,
do a series, yeah.
because like Rob,
Well, yeah, last year you did like the first day recap kind of,
Yeah.
second day, third and fourth or whatever.
yeah, and there were reasons behind why we kind of had to do it that way, and I don't know that we're going to do that specific type of breakdown this year, but I think like it's one of those deals where we really we have so much footage, and it's good footage. It's not just footage. And two, there really is so much of a story, I think, that so many different people went through on these adventures. And so we'll be able to break that out in all the interviews that we did. And so it might be good to be able to have like that longer, that 15 to 20 minute long, that feels like a real documentary of the adventure. But then we have something that's much more cut and dry, that's like under 5 minutes. That it's just the short version and a long version. And then we have all the different segments, because you and I and Todd, we were all recording in those certain sections. So it'd be really neat to be able to cut to those cool parts as you and I we're racing through the trail, right? And so we're all in the exact same section, just of different people's helmet cameras. So it'd be really neat to cut through that. So that could be a whole nother video. Obviously our quote unquote race up the climb on Star Trail, where I got last easily. And things like that. And obviously we could have a whole wrecking segment, because I know everybody who had a helmet camera on wrecked immense amount of time.
Oh, I know I did.
So
I thought someone was behind me, so I was being a dork. Like I slid on my chest and I started doing like a breaststroke, because I always do that when I know people are behind me riding. So I'm like, oh, someone saw that. I'm like, let's do. I'm doing like a breaststroke or like do a karate move or something, because I was always the guy with a Suzuki riding with KTM guys, so they called me the Karate Kid. So I do like something weird like that, and I stand up and I look behind me and no one's there. I'm like, dang it. But I see James up ahead. He's laughing at me and stuff, watching my bike on the ground. But that was good.
Awesome. Okay. And then before we totally let you go and finish this thing up, what did you think of James's save in the creek?
I don't think it could get right when it started to go really bad. It turned better and it went really good. Like if his legs would have went up another 3 or 4 inches, I think he would have cartwheeled over those bars, man. I mean, that was the close one. But But like I told him, like Woody tells you to be a hero, man. You got to be a hero. I'm proud of you. You went for it, you know.
Did you get a chance to see that video that we posted?
No.
Okay, so yeah,
Oh
you'll
my
have to
God,
go
Was
to
that the one you
see it,
sent
man.
me?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta check
You
that
got to
out,
go to
yeah.
YouTube and check that bad boy out because it's literally like our buddy. We were all kind of crossing this creek while Rob, who was our filmer this year, was filming, and my dad and I were like, "All right, James, go be a hero." And James took that to heart and tried to just completely wheelie across this like 15-foot.
Oh, you
long
want me
creek.
to wheelie across this 30-foot long creek? Sure, man. I got it.
Yeah.
It's
What a
only
jam.
4 feet deep. I got it.
Oh, Steven's gonna bring it up for us here.
Oh, nice.
So, but it's hilarious because like it's so deep, his just completely sucks up all his momentum.
Oh,
so it
shit.
brings his front end in, but it's still in the creek, and so
Oh,
it just
wow.
like, brrr, oh, it's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that other. Oh,
Is it on Seat Time? Is it on the show right now?
doing it live. That's hilarious. The second one up there, if you
Yeah, I
search for
watched
Seat
that.
Time,
That's
I watched
crazy,
that
yeah.
like 100 times today.
That's how YouTube works. All right, you playing this thing for everybody, Steven?
Yep.
I like it.
Let's see if I can get it going here.
We're playing it, Brady.
He can't see it.
I can't see it, but I watched it like 100 times today, dude. It's so funny.
Uh-oh. We just lost it on our. Oh.
Oh man! Wow! Holy shit!
Because he knows that somebody's filming. So
Yeah, he's
like,
looking around.
he's
at the
looking
end.
around like, where's
the camera?"
Rob?
Where's the camera?
That was close. Yeah, look at him. He's like, oh.
Where'd he go?
I'm good.
And then he just like, oh, there you are. Thumbs up, buddy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had so much fun with that stuff, dude.
That
It was
is rad.
awesome. That was a perfect spot. And everybody else besides James was like me, like I was like, because I was like,
Yeah,
the
just-
last thing I'm doing is falling in this fucking creek while Rob is filming. So,
Yeah,
You know.
I went through pretty slow too. I knew it was deep, and I got one of my feet wet, you know, and then John came through and he was just soaked. Remember he said he got sideways and it made that tidal wave and it just came right back on top of him.
oh, that's right. And
Then-
we haven't seen that one, so we need to get Rob to send us that clip so we could see what
Yeah.
that looked like. I think
Yeah,
he said he got
went
that one in
sideways,
slow
just
mo
got tight.
too.
I mean, his jersey was dripping and stuff, but then James comes over and he lifts his leg up and he's got water just pouring out of the underside of his boot. It's like, dude, what did you do?
Hero.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
He went.
exactly.
He
Be
did
a
what you
hero.
told him to. Yeah.
Exactly. I like it.
Oh, yeah, you told him to do that.
Well, Mr. Brady Davis, I really appreciate you not only taking the time to come on the show this evening and doing a little bit of bench racing with us, but as well being such a badass on the trip. And I know we haven't really talked about it, and we don't have anything official for you as of yet, though it is in the works. And I wanted to let you know that you have officially been awarded the Badassery Award of Seat Time Adventures 2.0. And so far, James Hill has the Best Save Award, and you have the Badassery Award, and we've got 2 more awards that we are proclamating the winners for in the group together. But we will have.
Wow.
We don't know yet if it's going to be a rotating trophy that you get to hold on to for a year.
It should be a belt.
Yeah, like something
Yeah.
like cool that you get to hang
Ah.
on to and like could potentially use for a year, and then it has to go to the next person if that wins, or if it's something that's legitimate, like, you know what, 2016, this is my thing. Kind of, we're
Right.
working through that, but
You'll figure it out. I'm honored. Thank
officially you have
Yeah.
gotten that. So we just want to say thank you for coming on the ride. Thank you for having as much energy as you had on the ride. Thank you for making sure that your horn worked at every moment that you could potentially honk that son of a bitch. Because that was
I love that horn, dude. It's a weird thing to hear when you're out riding off road. Then you hear this horn. It's like, who the hell is that? You know? I think it's hilarious.
Yep. It's,
But in my interview, you know, I never did thank you guys. I mean, the support crew, Steven, Daniel doing everything that they could. Your dad was just trying to make everything awesome. And, and Rob, all those guys, they put in so much work to make us look good. I know the video is going to be awesome. I'm already like praising it, it's going to be badass. And they did a lot of work to make us like random Joe Schmo guys that like to go ride off road look good. And, they put in a lot of work. So thank you. And thank you for choosing me to come. The application I don't know if anyone else did. It took me like 2.5 hours. I really wanted to make an impression and go on this trip, and I'm really glad I did. Meeting you and meeting like all those guys was just something I'll never forget. Just memories for life. And that video I'll show my family, my friends, my kids. Hopefully, get them excited to go ride. Like, it's really a cool thing that I'm taking to heart. So, thanks, man. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
You did
No worries.
You did a good job.
I appreciate it. It was a fantastic adventure, and I noticed you in the same time. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm jealous of things. I'm like about next year already. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It sucks that the
And
gears have already started turning. And
yeah, when I woke up at 4 o'clock and said bye to you, you said, "I'll see you next year." I'm taking that as a formal invite to 3.0. That is, I don't care how hungover you were or how tired you were. That is a formal invite. And
potentially still drunk. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Potentially still drunk.
Just still drunk. Yeah.
I know.
That's the Admiral Nelson effect, bro.
Admiral Nelson had me going. Well, as long as you didn't be like, "Hey, bro, you tap me on the sleeping bag," and then you're like, "Wait, damn it, he's got an erection." Shit, that was weird.
No, that's SoCo and Mike's combo really put me down.
Yes.
That was
Best
so
mixed
bad.
drink of the trip. So we ran out of any kind of decent mixers. I had vodka, so I was still doing OJ at that point.
Right.
Like once I was just like, I'm too full of beer. I'm switching to liquor drinks. Bad idea for the headaches, but great idea while you're drinking.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so we ran out of vodka to make Brady a last drink. But I was like, hey, my dad's got some SoCo. We can do this, but I can't give you all of it because I need to make sure my dad's got just enough to be able to have something. I poured that in his cup, and I was like, well, fuck, what do we mix with it now? So we're looking around, and
I opened
we find a
fridge, and I'm
Mike's
like,
Hard Lemonade
No.
in the fridge.
I know it
God.
sounds terrible, but I'm telling you, at the time, it was the best idea we had all
Yeah.
night.
When you're totally drunk, it really didn't taste that bad.
It was the best. I remember we went back out by the fire, and I took a drink of it, and I looked at him like, oh, God, I forgot what I was drinking.
Like, holy shit, what did I just put in my mouth?
You're like,
I'm not sure what this is, but it's not bad. It's not that bad.
after 3
And then
more
you're like,
sips,
how drunk am I?
what's your
Yeah,
tongue
exactly.
was
Yeah, we're out there by the fire like, oh, I'm really questioning how drunk I am right now because this actually tastes good.
Should I be this close to a fire?
Yeah, especially after I put all the firewood on the fire. 'Cause
We did build a big fire.
obviously that was a good idea.
Yeah, they're always good ideas at that kind of an evening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It sucked that so many people went home early because we had a great bonfire. We had all the cool bench racing going on at the end of it. But we
And
understand.
the creek battle.
Oh my gosh! So
Do not forget about the creek
another
battle.
crazy.
That's one thing I want to see in the video is you going like this. It's so cold. It's just total
we had like
panic.
the snow melt, creek going into the
Yeah.
reservoir there because in Taylor Park is built around Taylor Park Reservoir, and so this little creek by our campsite, like Brady was going in there and bathing in it every day after we get done, just rinsing off, and I was like, okay, I got to go try this with him when the sun was out because I knew it would be cold, right? Well, we go over there on a day where it's not too warm. And the sun's out, but it's still not. And he just dives in and gets under the water, and I walk in, and I'm like, oh, fuck no, this is too cold. And I make it to the point where it's deep enough to go, to get underneath everything. And I'm like, there's no way. So I'm splashing water, and we have a GoPro of this.
Yeah,
Every time,
I
I'm
grabbed
just
the GoPro. Oh man, that was so funny.
It was
It was
pathetic.
funny and really pathetic.
And that was the way he
That is
ended it. He
hilarious.
goes, he's just he has the camera on me after I finally get done, and I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And I start walking off. He just looks at the camera and goes, that was pathetic, and then boop, kills it. I was like, well, at least it was a great ending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
hilarious.
I definitely want to see that on the film because that was hilarious.
But what turned into amazing is that last day of riding, it got really hot, 10 degrees hotter than it was any other day out there. Super dusty, and we rode a lot. So when we got back, everybody, all the support crew, Todd, myself, Brady, every single one of us was in the creek, Like, cause I was like, I'm warm enough. The sun's out. I got to do this, and it was awesome. Like, we all had our beer. We're just chilling. Like, everybody's kind of like rinsing off, and just some of us sudsing up, not each other, but separately.
Hey, whatever you guys do on seat time.
Yeah, whatever you do in the creek is your creek. So, but no, you're right. The creek was awesome way to end that whole shindig.
Yeah, that was it. That
I'm
was a
glad we
good
all
way
had
to
shorts
end.
on.
Everyone
That
in
would've been
there.
really weird. Like, oh, look
Everyone
how
in there
small it is
bathing
this
up.
cold ass water.
What's that?
Are we getting in trouble?
Me?
Are you getting
No.
told to go to bed?
I am in the bedroom.
So it's going to have to happen. All right, well, we got to close up, my man. We love you. Thank you very much for all the great times, and I know we're going to be in touch. There's no worries about that one.
Oh, that makes me feel good. Absolutely. Love you too, man. Again, thank you so much for this awesome experience, and can't wait for the video. Can't wait to hear for you. Can't wait to start planning for 3.0, dude. I'm in. 100%. Let's
All right,
do it.
boss.
Ow! Yeah, we'll see you later, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, man.
Peace. Later.
All right, so what's your next meetup? So we can kind of, before we wrap all this up, where can people learn more about what you're doing and may potentially head on over to your next meetup?
Yeah, so the next meetup I'm doing is August 20th. Yeah, August 20th, I'm doing a DFW meetup. I actually just scheduled it today, which is really
fantastic.
lucky that I did that before I came on here. I'll
Nice.
say, I'd be like, I don't have a meetup scheduled, but I have one. So, yeah, if anyone is watching and is a local DFW person, we're going to be doing, you can actually go on my Facebook and just look up Yammie Noob on Facebook. You'll be able to find the event details. We're going to do what I call the Super Tour, which is this route that I've devised across most of the fun roads in DFW, the only fun roads in DFW that I've found. Yeah. And so we're going to be meeting up at 9 a.m., going to be heading out, doing a fun run across all those roads. It's going to be probably a pretty quick pace, so I wouldn't really recommend if you've been riding for a month or two to come join, because we're probably going to be going pretty fast, so just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, that's the next one.
Dumb, ignorant question. What is pretty fast?
So I have this rule that I follow for whenever you go up against the corner, there's a suggested speed sign. Mm-hmm. You double that and you add 10 miles per hour. That's the pretty quick pace. So if it says 30, you take it at 70. Yeah, that's my own little rule that I use to kind of gauge it. But yeah,
that's fast.
it's not that fast, honestly. Like if you're running like a nice little pace with the bike, it's not that fast. But so yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing.
Holy balls! If that doesn't sound scary, go and let me know, and I may one day join you in 8 years.
Yeah.
When I feel like I may have grown bigger balls.
Well, if you want to see the pace, I just put out a video on Monday. A buddy of mine just got a brand new BMW S1000 single R, really cool bike. And there's some video of me riding pretty the pace that I just described to you.
The Yammie Noob pace.
The Yammie Noob pace, yes. So yeah, that's the next meetup. But I mean, if anyone else is wanting to check out the channel, it's Yammie Noob on YouTube. And as you see, even if you look up Seat Time, you somehow find me as well. So I mean, just look up Yammie Noob on YouTube, and you'll be able to find my videos. Yeah.
A good time. We obviously appreciate you taking the time to
Yeah,
not
dude.
only come on the show, but come into Creating in Cahoots, checking out everything we've got going on here.
Yeah, this is a nice space.
Well, thank you. We've been putting a lot of time and effort into kind of continuously growing this as things ebb and flow. It's a lot more fun to do this here than it was at my house for so long.
Yeah.
So we could, even though we kept the backdrop, and things technically look the same, from the
Just
camera's
moved
perspective.
everything, yeah.
It's just that it's just a lot more official for us, and it feels awesome. So it's going to be fun. I know that for sure, once it cools off a little bit, we'll get Yammie out on some kind of off-road motorcycle, two-stroke if we can get going.
That's going to be sick.
I think a 500 would be scared their balls off. It would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And of course, we got my 350. We can figure something out.
Yeah.
We got a couple friends local that have some property that we can probably go play around on. So we could get you some filming, get you some
Yeah.
fun going and stuff. And then
That'll make an awesome video. First time
I
dirt
think
riding,
so.
that'll be great.
I think
Yeah.
so. And then I'm going to try to help him out a little bit, get some of the kind of the list of riders he's talking about, but a little bit more on the
Yeah.
off-road side of things. So.
Yeah, want to do so the video I'm most famous for is I did the 9 types of motorcyclists you'll meet. and I've done 3 series of those. So I guess 27 motorcyclists now in total, which is a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot of effort. But those are definitely the most popular ones. But I wanted to team up with you guys and do like a 9 types of dirt bike rider ones because I don't know anything about it, so I would definitely need your expertise to do that. It would be pretty cool.
That's easy, and we can go all the way from like motocross racer to literally like redneck overall wearing dude. Like we can go all. There's a whole spectrum.
Like his bike is worth more than the trailer park he lives in.
It's unfortunate, but we can make this happen. It's funny because a lot of the times what you see in those backwoods situations is they have like completely FMX'd out their bike.
Oh shit.
So like even though they have no idea, like they don't jump, they don't do any of that kind of stuff. That's just like what they see on TV. So that's what they think like a bike is supposed to look like. Like they've got the cut fenders, they've got the airbox holes like for grabs and stuff, and everything like the taller handlebars. Like you're like, what?
You're like, what is this?
Yeah, like what happened? And so it's just because that's what they saw on X Games.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that's a motorcycle. It's pretty hilarious.
Nice.
Well, dude. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Brian Pierce, Eric, Yammie Noob.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming on. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Obviously, please go check out our sponsors, Fly Racing, Kenda Tire at kendatire.com, and then, of course, SRT at SRT Off-Road. That's the best way to support us is to go support those guys. We would prefer your local dealer, but you do know that you can get great deals online sometimes, too. Definitely stop in your local dealer and make sure you check all that kind of stuff out. You can find us. The website is seattime.co. Of course, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/seattime. We're on Twitter. It's at seattime_co. And on Instagram, it's at seattime. If you want audio only, of course, yes, you can find us on iTunes and on Stitcher. Just search for Seat Time. Best way to do that if you don't like my face, his face, or anybody else's face and just want to listen to our very raspy voices. Again, this has been Seat Time, episode 214, and we will be back next week. Thanks again, guys. Peace.
Cool.
Nice. An hour and 15 minutes. Yes, on the road and dual sport as well. Mike Tosh. Maybe I get Kenda road tire. Oh, cool. So maybe I didn't know that. Get you guys hooked up.
Dude, that was fun.
Try to do that.
To do what?
To try to get you some Kenda road tires. And they have some videos on them for them.
I've been
I don't know how much they're trying to push that stuff. That's why.
My friends, they keep telling me because I'm like a diehard like Dunlop aficionado. Like I literally religiously only buy Dunlop tires, and they keep telling me like, dude, just email Dunlop and see if they can get free tires. I'm like, I'm gonna try it. Yeah. Be fun. Because like that's literally all I've been doing lately. I'll just email companies. I'm like, do you want to work with me? So, like here's what it's more now. It's like a little nice little sales pitch email, but like it's been working. Like I got like 2 sponsors for the channel now. Like people trying to get it done. Like I noticed you have the sponsors too. It's like it's not that hard. You know? It's great.
It's crazy, like, and you've got a lot more. Like your side of the industry has so much more money than our side of the industry. That's one of the big hiccups for us.
I think
But
so.
it's like,
I've always thought that off-road stuff had more money because I feel like I see like what is it? I came across some motocrossers Facebook and he has like 1.5 million likes or some shit. I'm like, this dude's like a big
Different.
deal.
There's difference between motocross and off-road.
Like motocross and supercross
okay.
is kind of like
Yeah.
motocross and supercross, where like off-road is kind of like
I see
like
what you
the
mean,
redheaded stepchild
I got you.
of it. You know, but the only reason we've been doing this for so long and the way we've been doing it is because nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like the people that support us, and they're happy with what we do, and they pay us just in Colorado. Well, we have a video for that.
Yeah.
I had that same question.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the YouTube channel growth stuff because I'm actually right now it's like super prelim type of stuff, but I'm sort of conducting research and seeing if someone would be interested in like YouTube like growth development type of products. So I want to like probably like write an ebook or something like help people get there, maybe start consulting people on how to like grow their channels. And I think you guys would be like a great guinea pig to kind of start that up, just like see if we can make it bigger.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Like you've got these ideas, and if we follow them,
Yeah,
see
yeah.
if it works, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I know Steven does a lot, but Steven is I don't know if more interested or just more dedicated to trying to find that kind of advice. But he's the one who does most of that research and passes stuff along to me. But as we've talked about,
Yeah, I'm not good with the content side of this stuff in
Yeah.
particular.
It's interesting because like the content is super important. Like that definitely is the number one thing. But there's so many small little just like best practices that most people
Yeah.
don't